Okay, so Mandalorian season 2, episode 1 we just watched, and I liked it for the most part. As did Annabelle, I believe. How did you feel about it?
I think Annabelle also really liked it as well. She is me.
Yes. Yeah, for the most part, I enjoyed it. It was kind of the same feeling as season 1. There was not really any like dip in quality or nothing so far where you can clearly say like, oh, season 1 was better, season 2 is better. I think for this first episode, it wasn't really about like a new story. Like we got the general gist of like he needs to go find Baby Yoda's the child was kind. I think it just does a good job of throwing you back in the world, like kind of just another adventure, not really anything big stakes, just him helping out a town again, kind of just, making you feel at home before like anything big happens.
I like that they kind of, like in this first episode, like you said, like nothing really big happens. It's kind of just seeing like Mando be Mando again, like this is what Mando does. And I really like how the beginning, it kind of starts off in parallel with season 1, episode 1, when he walks into that bar and, he's looking for somebody else because he's a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
But he ends up having to face like a bunch of people. And that kind of happens to him as well when he walks into that like fighting arena and he ends up having to face like all those guys. And you're like, holy crap, like this dude is amazing. And that was the same kind of feeling that you got in the first episode of season 1.
Exactly. Just Star Wars Batman, basically. Just beating up a whole entire room of people and striking a pose.
I mean, he literally tied that guy up like Joker.
Yeah, he literally just hangs the guy and it's just like, where is the Mandalorian or whatever? Like straight up Batman.
I have to say, I was actually a little put off when he goes to visit, I don't know what her name is, but the lady who had taken care of the child. And I was put off at first by their dialogue. It seemed
same.
very relaxed. But granted, she is somebody that he trusts and who helped him out. And so I guess perhaps he's a little bit more relaxed with her, but it was very strange.
Yeah, for me, it wasn't really the tone. It was more the actual like formalness of the dialogue. It was way too formal. It felt like old school Star Wars, that type of talking. Like, I don't know, it had a different feel. Like even when he would talk to her last season, there just seemed like there was a different writer behind this. Like he was a little bit too formal, I would say. It just felt strange. Not really like a big problem, but that was just something I noticed right off the bat. Like they were talking like they were from another universe, where last season I never really felt that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his reaction to the droids. I mean, this is a man who like hated droids the whole first season. But, with Taika Waititi's character, I hope I said his name right. Sorry. With his character, he gained like new respect for droids.
Definitely.
But it was like a tragic moment. And I didn't really feel that like respect when he landed and gave the okay for the droids to actually check out his ship. He was kind of like, yeah, it needs a once over. Just let him do it.
Yeah.
I felt like they could have kind of drawn a connection between those two things, but I guess it's not really a focal point of this season anymore.
I think we might see a little bit more of that. Yeah, I think in that instance it really just wasn't that big of a deal. But I think it kind of still shows like he actually just like was like whatever, like just take care of it, instead of last season he would have thrown a fit. So there definitely has been some growth there and some new acceptance. He's no longer a droidist. Yeah, it just came up.
Okay, let's talk about Danny Cordray as a Mandalorian.
Yes.
As a raggedy Mandalorian.
Yeah, if you guys didn't know, the actor that plays the Marshal was in The Office, and I don't even know the actor's name, but we just know him as Danny Cordray because he was yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's his actual name.
That's not his actual name.
I swear it is.
There's no
I've
way
seen
it's
his
his
name in the
name.
credits. Yeah. I've seen his name in the credits.
Is it his actual No,
I
there's no
thought
way.
so.
I'm looking this up. No, his name is Timothy Oliphant. Elephant?
I don't know, man.
Timothy Elephant. But what he's Danny Cordray for anyone watching. That's his name now. We named him.
One and the same.
Yeah.
What are your first impressions of him, actor-wise and also character-wise?
The acting, I mean, wasn't anything too like obvious.
Cringy?
Yeah, obviously bad. I mean, I think he fit well with like the Star Wars westernness. You know, I didn't laugh at like his accent, which is good. Like you believed it, and that was that.
Yeah.
As a character, I thought right off the bat, I was super excited to see his armor. Spoilers, but we're pretty sure we're already in spoilers. His armor, I was just so excited to see the Boba Fett. I recognized that armor immediately. But you could tell it was not him because he just looked so lanky, and he was just wearing like a long sleeve shirt underneath.
I'm telling you, there's something off about his proportions.
Yeah, and then he had like this like scarf around his neck, which made his neck look even longer, and he just looked like ridiculous. He looked like a kid just dressing up as like a Mandalorian. But I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I guess for him it's not really about the looks. It's not really about being cool. It was just about protecting his people. And I like how they didn't make him like a scumbag, like, oh, I stole Boba Fett's armor. It was like he had a noble reason for taking that armor, and I kind of actually felt bad about why he would end up having to give up his armor, because like for him it was just to protect his people, and then Mando's kind of just like, I don't care, you give it back.
Yeah, kind of messed up. I also kind of thought about that, and I was like,
the irony that
okay,
that armor doesn't even belong to a Mandalorian in the first place.
yeah, seriously,
pretty funny. Which is going to be a very interesting storyline, because I feel like when he does find Boba, or if Boba goes to like try to retrieve his armor from him, I don't know. I feel like Boba might pose as a Mandalorian, or he might just be like, no, that's my armor, but I'm not a Mandalorian. And there might be a conflict there. Like, no.
That's what I'm wondering. Is this Boba a completely different Boba than the one before? Is he a completely changed man? You know, like where he sees that armor and he's like, that's not who I am anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Or if he like wants to be that again. I think he might not want anything to do with it, but Mando, that's his name, is probably gonna go like do some investigating and find Boba and be like, this is yours, you're the Mandalorian. He's like, no, that's not me anymore, blah blah blah, that type of thing.
The Sand people just kept sacrificing
yeah
people
to
the dragon. Like, they didn't learn. Like, they would just go and stand there for like the longest time, and then run at the last second.
Yeah, either like super noble or just super dumb.
Super dumb. One thing I want to talk about, everybody is super excited because they're going to get to see Baby Yoda, the child again, who stole the show in the first season. I felt like he almost played no role at all in this episode. I wasn't expecting him to come out and use the Force for anything major. Mm-hmm. I know that they want to build that tension again, but even between him and Mando, there's hardly any interaction. And I personally hated that about this episode, because they've bonded through so much. Mm-hmm. You would think that you would see a stronger, like almost like fatherly relationship that Mando has with this child that they kind of developed at the end of season 1. Mm. And you don't see that carry over into this first episode of season 2. I don't even know if Mando speaks to him once.
Yeah, there's not much interaction between them.
Yeah, it's the only shots of Baby Yoda are in reaction to something that Mando is doing, or in reaction to something that's happening around them. Very and that's true. Just kind of annoying to me. I was so excited to see their little bond again, and there was hardly any of that. The
whole entire plot is driven around Baby Yoda, but there are not really many scenes that everyone was kind of, tuning in for. And I think they did that on purpose. You don't want to give everyone everything all at once. You kind of want people, to keep tuning in and all that stuff. But I think they did a good job of, keeping the same feel of their relationship. Like, you don't ever feel like he doesn't like him anymore. Like, he's oh, still there, like, oh, he goes wherever I go. So there still is that strong connection, and like it's like a father and a kid are going in battle or like going on an adventure, but their relationship isn't necessarily like the focal point of that adventure. That's kind of just off to the side for like at least this episode, because there's
Yeah.
like uh more of a present danger that requires their attention.
Yeah. So, what do you feel about the climax of this episode?
I thought it was kind of eh. Like there
Yeah,
was nothing really there. It kind of, that whole entire dragon sequence for me at least kind of dragged on a little bit more than it should have.
I agree.
Yeah, they were just like all standing outside this big tunnel, and then the dragon comes, and they're fighting it, and it gets to the point where like they both fly up, and that was actually a really cool shot of like seeing like the Boba Fett armor and Mando like fly up together and shoot the dragon. But yeah, they were just like shooting it, and he's like, this isn't working. He's like, just shoot. I'm like, what do you mean just shoot? It's not working. You're just like poking it and nothing's happening.
Yeah, this guy we've seen throughout an entire season have impeccable aim.
Yeah.
And he misses the eye of the
Shoot
dragon
the eye.
every time. Every time. Oh, so annoying.
What annoyed me is how they put the bomb so like far away from the opening of the tunnel. And I know it's like, oh, you don't want to wake him up, but you have to literally like do a freaking Tusken Raider roar to wake the thing up, to call it out. So I don't understand that. I feel like they could have just easily had it go crawl out right there to where they can see it, and then boom, explode it. Bingo bango, done.
So many people died because of that.
Yeah. The only reason I was like kind of at the edge of my seat during that whole entire sequence was because I thought we are gonna get some type of like Boba Fett, like, oh, he comes out of the cave, or when Mando got swallowed.
This is where we disagree.
Yeah. Hey.
You think Boba Fett survived in the stomach of a dragon?
I mean, he survived a Sarlacc pit, which is basically the same type of like creature. So
yeah,
like,
but this dragon spews acid that like kills people.
I mean, the Mandalorian survived, and he was inside of it. So I'm just saying.
I guess.
I thought.
Can't argue with that.
I thought what was gonna happen was Mando was gonna get swallowed by the dragon, and then that would have been like a cliffhanger. And then next episode we would see like he'd find freaking Boba Fett living in the dragon or something, or I don't know.
Yeah, but that's not the style of these episodes. It always ends with a badass moment from Mando.
It does. Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to talk about. The explosion reactions. Oh my god. The sheriff, the marshal, is such a dork. It is so like funny to watch.
He's like the dad equivalent of Mando.
He could have done such a cool Iron Man like missile launch and like walk away moment, but he just like stood there still like staring at it. And I was like, what are you doing? Turn around, look at the camera, and walk. And that's what Mandalorian did. That's what Mando did at the end.
That's signature Mando. They don't want to upstage Mando, or they don't want to put him on Mando's level because he's not a Mandalorian. He doesn't have that swag.
That's true. They kind of want you to know like this is just a dude that has cool armor on,
Exactly.
He's not a hero. I think that's actually a really like smart, subtle way to like separate them.
Yeah. He's a temporary character. I don't think he's gonna be in the season. Maybe an appearance in next episode, but I really don't think we're ever gonna see him again.
I think maybe like for like the end of the season where he has to like round up all of his friends from that met like in every episode, like an Avengers thing.
Endgame.
Yeah.
Do you think that they did a good short character development with this Marshall?
I think they did. Because initially when Mando walks into a bar and someone like, they start having some friction, you automatically side with Mando, and you're like, this other guy is just a scumbag. Like, just shoot him in the face. And they were about to like shoot each other in it. That was really cool. That was a cool moment. But then they flip it, and it doesn't end in a fight or like a duel. It's just something else happens. Like, we gotta save that for later. And yeah, you learn his backstory. Initially I thought he was just a guy that stole the armor and was posing as a Mandalorian, but he's like, no, I'm not that. I'm just trying to, protect my peeps.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was a good twist. Like, this is actually a pretty decent person that's just trying to get by and survive.
Mhm. Yeah, one thing I didn't think that they did well with some development in this episode was you have this conflict between these townspeople and the sand people, but you never see why that is. You always hear like, oh, they pillage from each other or they kill each other,
Mm-hmm.
but you never like see a history of that or anything like that. So it's kind of just like said.
Yeah,
And I think it makes it less impactful when they all come together to fight this dragon.
that's very true. I think
Yeah.
they could have, instead of that sequence where that one freaking battalion of, I don't even know what they were really.
Some like Nazi people.
Yeah, they came in and like enslaved the whole entire place. I think
Yeah.
they could have put like the Tusken Raiders at that point, like stormed their village. I think that could have been good because those other guys, I don't know if they're gonna use them for like future episodes, but they really served no purpose um in this episode. So I feel like it would have made more sense to have the Raiders be that antagonist and then
Yeah.
have to make them work together.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like that whole sequence with the dragon. I didn't feel any emotional connection to the sand people or the townspeople at all.
Aside from laughing.
Yeah, aside from um yeah, they just didn't, I don't know, they didn't create a tension between them enough. I mean, you see a little bit of it in that like one conflict between that guy, one of the townspeople. He starts yelling at one of the guys because he dropped like an explosive or something. But it's like,
That felt forced.
yeah, it absolutely did. It almost felt reminiscent of like what you see on social media daily, like between people who don't get along. But yeah, I just didn't feel like aw, they came together, they put their differences aside. But I mean, I can see why that's not a focus of this episode, but still, if it's gonna be like more than like 15 minutes of your show,
Mm-hmm.
you might want to build that up.
Yeah, I don't think like the average viewer would like necessarily cares at that point. So, question.
Yes, sir.
Do you think by the end of all of this, now we're getting into just like general season speculation, by the end of this season, if Mando finds Yoda's kind, Baby Yoda's kind, because again, a big thing in Star Wars is that George Lucas has no idea what Yoda's kind is. He just made it like, okay, this is just this alien, that's what he looks like, and it's never really been explored. So do you think when that happens, is Baby Yoda going to stay with his people, or do you think, they're gonna find that there are no more of the people? You know what I mean? Because they can't just like, okay, that's the end of Baby Yoda's arc, or maybe it will be for like until like season 4, because they don't want to like overdo Baby Yoda.
They're doing 4 seasons?
They're probably gonna do like 10 seasons. I don't know.
I mean, I didn't doubt they were gonna do multiple, but I was just wondering if it was actually confirmed.
Oh, they're gonna milk this.
Oh, for sure. Okay. Well, here's my thinking, right? I don't know.
Fair enough. That's
Okay. Well, I have theories, but they all like contradict each other.
shoot.
The one that I think is most probable, he does have, like a species that he belongs to, and they're going to find remnants of this species. And I think it draws into question whether all of this species could be users of the Force.
Mm-hmm.
Because Yoda is, and now we have this baby, a literal baby who can use the Force.
That's probably why they're so like rare and like mysterious, because they're probably like a naturally born Force sensitive race, and they probably live on like some crazy Force planet. Yeah, it's probably where like, Ahsoka plays into this whole entire thing. That's still crazy to think about. Ahsoka is gonna be in this show.
I know. I mean, you know me, I haven't seen much of Ahsoka, so I don't know a ton about her. I mean, we've watched a couple of Clone Wars episodes.
We
So I
saw the
know
last
some.
4, so
Yeah. But I definitely think that her role in this show kind of solidifies that there's more going on with Baby Yoda species than we currently know about.
yeah, we're gonna get some more Force stuff.
Yes, exactly. And it'll be interesting to see if Ahsoka kind of takes on like a teacher's role with
Yeah,
this child.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
If she tries to show him how to control his force, are we gonna get to see Baby Yoda with a baby lightsaber? I would freaking love that. That would be amazing.
That would be hilarious. Speak first.
But yeah, it's possible that maybe there was a species and it doesn't exist anymore, and he's the last one, and that kind of also creates a big plot
The last Force bender.
because yeah, I actually um because wasn't he like the first one that we saw that could force heal?
Um, I think in like visual Star Wars media, I think it's been a thing in comics before, but
Gotcha. Gotcha.
for like
I was
mainstream
gonna
media.
say he could play a big part in like fostering that part of the force.
I think that might be their way out. If they wanted to kind of give some breathing room from Baby Yoda, they could just give him to Ahsoka, like to watch, because obviously she's like a powerful Force user, like freaking Obi-Wan level. But what I also wanted to talk about was how there's no way there's not going to be Captain Rex in this show, because him and Ahsoka are close, right? Um,
Yes.
and they obviously have the actor confirmed because we literally saw him at the end of this episode who plays Boba Fett. There's no way they're not going to use that opportunity to have Rex and Boba like in the same scene. Can you imagine? That would just be insane. Like one of the last clones and then one of like the first clones.
Okay, so let me say, I was confused at the end whether it was Boba or if it was Rex. And the reason why is because Boba, or I mean, whoever it was dressed in like an all black cloak. And that is the same cloak that we see on Ahsoka in the trailers.
Oh, I see.
So I was like, is
Hmm.
it Boba or is it Captain Rex? Because he's dressed the same way that Ahsoka is in the trailers. And if they're kind of on the run together, I mean, it would make sense that they would kind of have a similar attire, you know?
That is true. That could be a twist that is Rex, but I truly don't think it is, because I mean his armor played like a pretty big role in the episode, and then
Yeah.
it's on Tatooine near where he died. That's literally the Sarlacc pit where he fell in. So I definitely think that is going to be Boba, but I mean you never know.
Yeah. I mean,
That's a good theory though.
I saw like spoilers and everybody was like, "Oh, it's Boba." And so I guess it's not Captain Rex, but it did confuse me at the end. I was like, which one is it?"
Well, I mean you never know, because maybe they just assume that everyone is going to assume that it's Boba, because it's
Boba.
obvious that it is. Maybe Boba's long dead, and that is Rex. But I think older Rex usually sports like a old white beard, you know. But I mean,
Oh, true. Yeah, I've seen depictions of him.
yeah, I don't think Boba is going to play a big role in the season, like in terms of like just being present. I think if that does happen, end of season, episode 2, right? Okay, I'm here. Here's some advice. Here's what I know. Blah blah blah. And then propel Mando off to like another quest, like another part of his quest, to where he has new information, goes to a new planet, or oh my god, I think it's Rex. I think it's Rex. My you just heard my opinion change in like an instant. I think it's Rex.
You think it was Rex at the end?
I think it was Rex because again, the cloak, right? You got me. You got me with your theory. The cloak, And the fact that he is like watching from the distance, he's watching Mando from a distance, and then we see in the trailer, Ahsoka's doing the exact same thing, watching.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But how did your opinion change based off of your theory that you were explaining? You never explained that. You're just talking about how like Mando was gonna go on from quest to quest, and then you're like, oh my god, I think it's Rex.
Because I was about to say that when he goes to that like water planet or whatever, that's when we see Ahsoka, and she's wearing the cloak, and then she's like kind of watching him from a distance. That's where I was like, okay, I don't think Ahsoka would be talking to Boba, but it would make sense if she and Rex were like communicating with each other.
Ah, yes.
And like this guy has a little Yoda, and then Ahsoka's like, "What? What do you mean a little Yoda? I need to know more." I'm pretty sure that's her motivation for like investigating Mando. Like, why do you have a baby Yoda?
God. Did we just transcend everybody else?
I think we did. I think we cracked the case.
We did. I think we're amazing.
Because think about it. Everyone is going to automatically assume that's Boba Fett. That's what I assume. That's what everyone assumes. I'm guaranteed. I haven't
Except
even
for
seen
me.
Except for you, and now me.
I agree with you. I also think it's Rex. And almost in contrast to what you said, because I know we kind of talked about this earlier off film. You had talked about how Boba Fett in the previous movies never really got much of a development or like a story
At all.
And how this show kind of presented a unique opportunity with the Mandalorian as its main character to give him a proper story.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they will necessarily hinder that by just having him in as like almost like a leeway for Mando to go on another quest, because that's not a proper story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think they'll build the tension, and then we'll get to see however Mando and Boba get to, you know, like interact with each other.
Exactly. I think that can make for like a really good like reveal. Like this guy approaches Mando, he's talking, but it's Rex, and it's like, wait, this is Rex? Your whole entire world just like flips upside down.
Yes.
Like, what is happening? Why is this here? Why is Rex here? What are they doing? And it could be the reason Rex could be on Tatooine is because last season, you know, now Mando's story is getting known. Like people know about him and the child. So if word gets around that a little baby Yoda it has been like seen hanging around this part of Tatooine, right? Obviously, that's gonna catch some attention. That's gonna catch some like Jedi attention.
Yeah.
Ahsoka sends Rex, go investigate this. Rex is like, okay, I will.
Bam.
Yeah.
It's Captain Rex. Captain Rex confirmed.
Captain Rex, 1000% confirmed. The character you saw at the end of Mandalorian Season 2 was not who you think it was.
And yet, it was, because they are kind of the same.
They're one and the same, but not.
But, yes.
The thing that surprised me was how early they, like, revealed, like, boom, there's Boba Fett. It's like,
first episode?
Yeah, like, that, I mean, it is a cliffhanger, but still, I was like, that's kind of early. So at that point, next episode, if you revealed that that's Rex, it's like, oh my god. So Boba is going to be in this show, but now we have no idea when that could happen.
Yeah.
So, yep, now we're just going with our theory and like progressing through the season. Yeah.
And now you believe it too.
Yep. So even if that does turn out to be Boba, always think in the back of your head, it's actually Rex.
Anyways, let us know if you guys have any thoughts or comments or contradictions in the comments. And if you have any theories about what the season holds, stuff you saw in the first episode, but please, no spoilers for the rest of the season.
Yeah, don't. If you somehow work at Disney, don't let us know what happens next, because we will make a video on it.
You never know where people get their information.
Well, I hope you guys liked the video. yeah, drop a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we will see you next week.